Alright, so today we're going to be going over how to get 60 FPS on Tomb Raider Definitive Edition for the Switch 1. Yeah, you heard me right, not the Switch 2, the Switch 1. First things first, we need to grab FPS Locker and the patch for it. So what is FPS Locker? Well, it's kind of like magic. It works for a lot of Switch games and it's very, very simple. And you can just drag and drop the file over, apply the patch, and there you go. You got 60 FPS. There's a couple more steps to it. Let's back it up a little bit. Some things that you need first. Of course, you need a modded Switch, preferably a Mariko revision, or an OLED. That's also Mariko. Beside the point. But of course, you need to have the latest, the most up-to-date Hackety, which is required for the most up-to-date atmosphere, and then you need the OVL loader, and then for that you need the Ultra Hand overlay, and then you will need Salty NX. This one is part of the magic. And then of course you will need FPS Locker itself, the OVL, and Reverse NX. This one's optional, but it's really helpful if you're playing handheld and you want to get docked graphics settings. We'll go over that when we hop onto the Switch. And there's another thing here. You need the Edison overlay because I'm going to be showing you how to install cheats as well. And the status monitor so we can actually see how it's performing, whether it actually is 60 FPS or not, and how much the GPU, RAM, CPU are being stressed. Now, one thing here, we're going to go to the GBA temp thread, and I'm going to be having links to everything down below. One thing about cheats, when someone creates cheats, you got to give them credit for it. That's a big thing about the whole Switch scene. When you get these tools and use these tools, you're free to use them. You can share them and do whatever you want to your heart's content, but you got to give the original creators credit. And we're doing that right here too. Ranma99VN. Here are the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition cheats that we're going to be installing. And then also, we have FPS Locker Warehouse from Massa Grader. This guy is awesome. Now, here we have the patch, and that's a whole bunch of information, but we're going to make that a lot more simple for you. I've already downloaded it, and I put everything together in a neat little package. Tomb Raider Definitive Edition SD out. This is the very, very basic, just the cheats and the FPS Locker patch. So you got a Salty SD folder, but it doesn't have the Salty SD files. If you want those, that will be in a second zip. But the first one here, we got Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, cheats and FPS mods. Let's go ahead and, well, we'll just make that a zip right now. There you go, that one's ready to go. So what you do, you drag it over to your Switch SD and you just extract here is what you want to do. Also, I recommend that you get 7-zip. That's my preferred utility for zipping and unzipping. Of course, Windows can do it. You can just open it, open here, and then you just drag it over. So that's what you want to do. Alright, now the next thing, Pretend SD out. This is a collection of all of the previous files. Hackety, Atmosphere, OVL loader. This loads the overlays for all the different mods. And Ultra Hand is the main overlay that we interact with. Salty NX, the dependencies for that. FPS Locker, the OVL loader there, and also Reverse NX. The Edison, this is the cheats manager. And status monitor, so the overlay. And then these ones are included in the second zip. So here, I'm just going to go ahead. If you need this, you go ahead and drag and drop this onto your Switch. But I'm going to throw a disclaimer. As of today, with Switch version 21.0.0.1 or 0.0.0, both of them, these will work. These are 100% compatible. Now, when the next version comes out, Switch version 21.0.0.2 or above, you're gonna need to grab all of the updated files, especially Atmosphere. Nintendo breaks everything whenever they update. Even minor revisions tend to break. As for overclocking, I'm not going to get into that today because the official overclocking utility hasn't been updated yet. So we're going to deal with that a little bit later. But hopefully you're still on an older version of the Switch OS, so before 21.0.0, then all this stuff will work, but also you'll still have access to overclocking utilities. But before we hop onto the Switch, we're just going to go over this really quickly. So here, I just made another folder on my NVMe here, Switch SD. Ignore the first one, that's just another subfolder. We're going to pretend I just inserted my Switch SD card. Here it popped up. Oh, it's a brand new SD card. It's blank. There's nothing in it. Let's get it all completely set up. So we're going to go ahead and this one here. Pretend Switch SD out. And we just go ahead, drag and drop those over. And there you are. They're installed in the Switch. And then, of course, we want the Tomb Raider mod. We're opening up that one. And then here, we drag and drop these over. And if you get prompted to overwrite anything, do that at your own risk. I don't know your setup. The Tomb Raider Definitive Edition cheats FPS mods. This one you can copy over, overwrite whatever it says. That will not break anything in your custom firmware. The other one here, here, this one, pretend SD out. This is if you want to update the files on your Switch. So you can either grab them individually from all the GitHubs I have listed up there. Sorry, I've gone over this a bunch of times. I just want to really make sure about this disclaimer so you don't break your custom firmware. But if you want to update to 21.0.0 or 21.0.1, you go ahead, you grab these, you copy them over to your SD card. It's going to ask you right here to replace. You hit yes. And then you reboot your Switch, go ahead, update the firmware, and then you're good to go. And I will say there are no SIG patches in this mix. So if you want to have those, we will do another video on those a little bit later. But for today, we're focusing on this. This is just a very basic, clean, very safe Italian plumber company install. Alright, let's hop over to the Switch. Alright, so here we are on the Switch. Let's go ahead and load up the game. I come across a couple issues while doing this, and I'm going to go over it while the game is loading here. What I learned is you really want to set it to 45 FPS if you're playing docked. If you're playing handheld, you can do 60 FPS and it'll look fine, it'll play fine, it's good. But in docked here, because of the dynamic resolution scaling, which we cannot disable at this point, if there is an update to that later on, I will do a quick video update to it and let you guys know. But right now, we're just going to go ahead and load up the game. I'll show you what I mean. It's the overclocks at default, the FPS target is still set to 30 FPS. I'm going to go ahead, and the first thing I'm going to do here, we're opening up as in cheats. We are doing infinite arrows because I hate having to farm ammo. So here at 30 FPS, let's open up status monitor just so you can see that. Alright, here we are. So I don't know what it is about the custom firmware Switch, but when you're playing handheld versus docked, you tend to get more crashes in docked mode. Especially when you're tweaking with resolution and frame rate. But what we're going to do here on FPS Locker, we're changing it to 45 FPS. Go ahead, status monitor, mini. Alright, here we are. So it's at 45 FPS. It's quite a bit smoother. Now, if you go above this, you start getting a smearing Vaseline kind of look on the screen. Right now, it doesn't look beautiful, but it is a lot better than what it looks like at 60 FPS. And I will show you that in a moment. One more quick thing I gotta go ahead and tell you though. FPS Locker, I changed it. You're not gonna be able to do that right away. The first thing you do when you load up the game, you have to click this Convert Config to Patch File. You click on that once, you close the game, you reopen the game, and then you can change the FPS target. So now that we got that, we're going to go ahead, hit that 60, and it looks like shit. I have tried everything I could possibly think of to get the dynamic resolution to scale differently. I'm not sure what it is linked to, but it is not the CPU and GPU. Because what I did was I overclocked my system to the max, and that was beyond safe limits. And still, it did not change the dynamic resolution at all. I have no idea why, but yeah, that's the thing. So I recommend you stick at 45 FPS if you're going to be doing this mod, at least for the time being. Okay, so here we are, handheld mode on the Switch. I'm not sure my camera is doing it justice, but as you can see, the resolution looks a lot better. So I recommend if you're going to do the 60 FPS mod, play in handheld mode, not in docked mode. So in conclusion, yeah, run the game docked 45 FPS. Handheld, you can do 60 and it looks beautiful. I can't recommend that enough. But if you really, really want to play this game docked at 60 FPS, you're better off buying the Switch 2 or, well, even the PS4 version would do it better than this. But if you're okay with what you got, go ahead, run at 45 and have some fun. I hope this video is helpful. If there's ever a dynamic resolution mod for this, I will make an update ASAP and let you guys know. Alright, anyways, thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you want, subscribe if you want to, thumbs down if you want to, whatever you want. See ya.